Hey guys, welcome. I'm a big fan. I just hit the mic. I'm a big fan of Batman, and I love all the Batman animated content, especially the movies. And Dustin, you're a big animated fan too, right? Of course, you're more anime than me, but do you like regular animated stuff as well? Or?
Yeah, and I mean, I think my first real venture into loving cartoons was probably Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah.
So
well, we talked about that on our last Daydream episode, where we talked about kind of a nostalgia factor of our favorite TV shows from after school and Saturday mornings. Yeah. And I just thought this was a natural extension of that, since you haven't seen a couple of my favorite animated Batman films.
It's true.
I thought we'd see. Now, have you seen these two films?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you've seen them all, like me, and if not, maybe most of them.
I think there might be one, but I couldn't think of the name. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've seen most. I haven't seen Assault on Arkham.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Honestly, you're not missing much. That's what I've heard. That was a reach for me. But we aren't going back to watch the first one, the Mask of the Phantasm, which we probably should at some point. But that was a great movie. It was in theaters. It was amazing. I love that film, and that kind of started this thing of Batman animated movies. Sometimes they were to supplement the movies that came out. Sometimes they weren't. Like we had a Mr. Freeze movie that came out around the same time as Batman and Robin, and was better. And you just had these high quality Batman animated movies, and then they started adapting stories from the comics, and that's when things started getting really interesting.
Right.
So now, are you excited that these? I mean, I know you like some cartoon movies, but
No, I like cartoons. I mean, as much as the next nerdy person, but I also love Batman. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you're gonna see. Tonight we're gonna watch Under the Red Hood, which animated style and everything is very similar to Batman the Animated Series, kind of traditional. I mean, it's not that exact look, but it's that kind. And then we're also going to watch The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, which that style was very much trying to mimic the comic style of Frank Miller's comic.
Exactly.
And so that's going to look a little different. But both of these are some pretty awesome stories. I think they're both like PG-13.
Yeah, I'd say so. Maybe Dark Knight a little more toward that end of the PG-13 spectrum. But definitely within that range.
So they're great stories of mine. We're going to watch each film and then come back and record our thoughts and give a little context on each film. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a fun little night. We're going to have some dinner. We're going to watch some movies.
Woohoo!
We're going to give you our thoughts. First off, just as a treat, maybe as a treat for me, I don't know, maybe for you, I am a big Batman fan, as you know, so I did a little quick recording of some of my Batman collection, from the posters to the movies to the comics that I have, and I'm going to play that right now. So most people know that I'm a big Batman fan. Oh look, there's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I thought I would give a little tour of my Batman collection. So there's obviously the old TV show on Blu-ray, thank you Maddie. And then other Blu-ray things, we've got the Batman motion picture anthology that was pre-Nolan. Batman animated series here with all of the animated movies, and we're gonna go over some of those in this episode. We've also got the Batman, the original movie. Somewhere we have the Dark Knight saga there. So, love that. Over here is Maddie's drawing of Heath Ledger's Joker. That's actually how we got together. And then over here is one of my favorite Batman paintings, and it's Batman made out of the Eiffel Towers, and that was for Batman Europa, which finally released this year, or last year, and unfortunately it was kind of a disappointment. So now here's the room. We've got a lot of, that's my big F And then you can see the other letters over there for Fierce Literature. One of my favorite pieces of artwork. It's on a nice framed mat of Batman. There's some of Jock's Batman's paintings. Please excuse the reflection of the light. There's some other artwork up there. That is actually really cool. It's a string, bunch of strings and nails that my dad put together for my birthday. That's pretty darn cool. One of my favorite real simple charcoal drawings of the Batman family. Very simple, very awesome. Batman Court of Owls right there. These are some of my custom bound books that I did through Houch and Bindery, and they're each like a couple different books in one that I then designed the covers for. And so I've got a couple shelves of that, and of course my DVDs of Batman Beyond and Batman Animated, which we'll talk about later. And that is the Batmobile. God, I love it. This is actually really cool. My dad got this. This is a printing press. It's backwards because the ink went on there, but this is for the original Batman movie. And it's pretty cool. You get all the villains in there. It's just a really neat collectibles item. Some of my Batman cosplay items, Red Hood, and that was kind of a Nightmare Batman thing. And then some of my other just comics and whatnot. They're graphic novels. Don't mind the pink lift mustache. More Batman collectibles from the games. The Arkham series games. I love these. I turn it on, but it's just too much of a hassle. So, love these things. We've got the Batman collectible chessboard with all the hand-painted chess pieces. You got Batman in the back and Joker, and then all of his rogue gallery. This was an uptaking to get all of those, but fun. Some more Batman artwork up here that I've collected from cons. Love that stuff. And then these are my comics. This drawer and another drawer is made up of Detective Comics. We've got really old ones back here. That's Detective 146 and some other ones. I think I have some older ones somewhere else. Batman vs. a Dragon. Love that. All the way up to more current things. That's Detective Drawer, and then the other comic I collect is Batman, and so that's down here. And we've got some old Batman comics there. Love that stuff. Really, really old stuff. It's good stuff. So that is my, this is the rest of my nerd room. Got some Fable stuff there. And of course, we have my comics and books there. So, yeah, that is my Batman collection in a brief little summary. And on with the episode. All right. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too horrible to watch.
Oh, it's pretty sweet stuff.
Yeah. So thankfully, it played a part in me getting together with Maddie. So
it's true.
Pretty lucky with that. We're going to get into the first film. We're just going to watch it and come back. I promise we are actually watching the films. You haven't seen them yet,
no,
so
I haven't.
Can't wait to get your genuine reaction.
Ooh.
So, okay, we'll be back.
We'll be Barack Obama.
And I'll be Zorak.
Yes. We'll be back after the break.
Message.
Yeah, after this message. All right. So we just finished Under the Red Hood, the first movie of the night, and I was mistaken. You have seen it previously. I actually showed it to you, and I forgot that I showed it to you.
Yeah.
But I guess refresher course. What are your thoughts?
Good film. I
Very
mean,
good film.
I like it. You know, I forget that, like, they make, this is going to sound really stupid, but that they make movies like this, like cartoon movies that go so dark. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's heavy stuff, but it's really good. And I think, it's just good. It's just good.
Well, it's based on a couple things in Batman lore, Batman canon. Back in the 80s, the second Robin was on the scene, Jason Todd, mm-hmm. and first Dick Grayson had moved on. Mm-hmm. He had his differences with Batman, wanted to be Nightwing, and while he was still an ally, he wasn't a partner anymore. And Jason Todd was the next experiment, and unlike Dick Grayson, Batman didn't find him out of tragedy, he found him out of delinquency and crime, mm-hmm. and it was a special case, but people did not like Jason Todd when he was in the comics. He was disrespectful, he was edgy. There was a big comic event where or not event, just a comic where it's centered around this rapist and woman abuser that went to jail, and because Batman and Robin stopped him, and his wife was very happy, or his girl was very happy, but then she was also kind of dependent, and he gets out on a technicality, and before they can get back to the place, he's either killed or beat up severely the woman he was with. And Jason Todd had formed a connection with her since they saved her the first time, and he got pissed and he went after this dude, and there was a scene on the balcony where they were fighting, and it doesn't show it, but then by the time Batman gets out to the balcony, the bad guy had fallen over. And so you didn't necessarily know if Robin threw him over or not. You assume. Yeah. And especially after that point, the audience was not on board with him being Robin. And so DC Comics put out a storyline where the Joker kidnapped him and said, vote in, call this number and vote. And depending on the votes, we will kill or not kill Robin. And the people voted him dead.
Yeah, which was very, very weird for Batman fans to vote an ally of his dead.
Yeah, but I'm sure, for Star Trek fans, if someone had said, hey, call this line and we'll kill off Wesley Crusher, people would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's super possible.
Yeah. But it was a monumental moment in Batman's history. I have those comics, the voter comics, and I love it. And that was back in the late 80s, and then either at sometime early 2000s was when this Under the Red Hood it came out, storyline came out in the comics. And this movie, for the most part, was pretty accurate in portraying it. I went back and kind of reread it, and of course there were some other things in there, but it was very, very accurate in its portrayal, and I love this film. I love it.
It's a good film. So is the next one continuing on from this story?
No.
Okay.
No.
So then can I ask?
Yes.
I can ask?
You can ask.
I can ask a question. Do we know if he's dead or not, after that second thing with the Joker?
He's not.
He's not. He's actually fairly regular now.
Yeah, they imply that
he has become, with his popularity, he went away for a while, and then they brought him back, and now he's got his own, he comes back and forth with his own comics.
Yeah, and actually people actually rather enjoy him as the Red Hood. So much so that he's been in 2 of the video games so far. I believe he was in City and, the last one that came out.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Which they rewrote it, and everybody guessed it from the beginning that it was him.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's an original character. Okay.
Well, yes, the Arkham Knight is an original character.
But
until you saw the the skin packs for the game, and you can swap it out with Jason Todd's Red Hood.
Right.
That's how I played the game. I'd much rather play it with
Might as well.
Red Hood rather than the Arkham Knight, because it's very evident that it's him.
And this is all.
Yeah, so in the comics, he goes away for a while. He comes back. There's even a time in the comics where Batman dies, and there's an event called Battle for the Cowl for who will take up the mantle of the Batman. And everybody feels like Nightwing should, but there's other people that kind of feel like they should be better. And he comes back and dons a Batman-esque outfit with guns and grenades and kills people as Batman, and that's kind of the final straw that brings Dick Grayson back, and he becomes Batman for a while.
What I always liked about Red Hood was that he was like, or at least to me, he always felt like the Thomas Wayne version of Batman from the alternate Flashpoint storyline.
Right.
Like if he actually went on to become Batman, like he would have been the Thomas Wayne, no holds barred, killing everybody.
Or even simpler, if Batman allowed himself to really kill, he would be him. Yeah. And he does, but everything he does when he allies himself with somebody, it's always someone that's weak and needs help or something, and sometimes those allies work, sometimes they don't, and he's turned into more of an anti-hero now, and in fact the Batman family will work beside him sometimes. But and he was a part of a kind of a modern Titans team for a while, and it goes back and forth with whether or not he's a good guy or an anti-hero, but he has become a popular person. Another thing I loved about this movie was if you had, most people don't know who the Black Mask is, and this did a good job in portraying him as part of the gang element. You know, it was very much, you didn't need to know a lot about Batman comics in order to really enjoy the movie, I think.
Yeah.
No, I
would agree.
Not knowing much about Batman comics myself,
and
it was good.
Yeah, it was nice that they used Black Mask instead of somebody like Falcone.
Right.
Where Red Hood and Black Mask, throughout Red Hood being a character, he's always at odds with Black Mask. So it's nice that they went with that.
Sure, yeah. And Black Mask has always been somebody I wanted them to throw into the live action movies, because it works. I mean, Falcone got more popular in both the comics and the movies and the animated stuff after Nolan really highlighted him in Batman Begins. But you already have these other villains, and he's not, he wears a black skull mask, but he's still pretty grounded as a villain.
Yeah, because it was more of an intimidation,
right?
Weird wow factor kind of thing, rather than like some kind of deformity.
Right. It is a mask.
Yeah, but I thought the one in this movie was kind of weird because just the way they animated him, because he always looked like he had like cut off tusks.
He did, like his cheekbones or whatever.
They're just done in a weird way, but that's just a stupid aesthetic thing.
Sure. I love the voice work in this.
I love
film.
Jensen Ackles. I was like,
Jensen
Ackles is in this?
He was great, wasn't he?
He was awesome. He has a good voice, though.
Now this one is RoboCop was Batman in this one, correct? Bruce Greenwood. Yeah.
Yeah, the voice for that. The voice for Joker was.
I think it's pronounced Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
I think that's. Yeah. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce his last name.
I have seen other animated versions of Batman, whatever they may be, and I didn't enjoy this Joker's voice, or even really this Joker, as much as I have in other things. I don't know. It's not like he was a bad character, but just something about him I didn't like as much.
People, I think, were split on his voice because Mark Hamill didn't come back for this one, and I think that was on purpose, though, because they wanted him to be a bit older and more frail, and he did have more of a croaked voice instead of a...
And I don't think they've ever cast Mark Hamill without Kevin Conway as Batman. I think it's always those two get cast together.
Probably, yeah. Just because they adore each other so much.
Well, yeah, and the chemistry those two have is probably the best for an animated series.
But I liked the voice of this because he was less charismatic and more sarcastic and kind of a little bit vulnerable in this movie.
No, I'm not dogging it. Like, I mean, I liked how they had him in this film. Like, it worked for the film, and like, you know, just like you're saying it. I mean, he made me chuckle, like the dark sarcasm, you know, in some parts. It just like, you know, it was good. But I just found that I didn't enjoy the voice, or I don't know, just something about him as much as other things. Not that it wasn't good, because it was. It just wasn't my favorite version of Joker, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and then we had MPH as Nightwing.
Yep.
And I liked him. That was, you know, it was a small part.
He was in this movie.
Yeah, I did too until you said saw his name, and I was like, oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I mean, I think
it's weird, like thinking of him voicing it. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's done a little bit of Batman work.
Yep.
Over the last couple of years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he played the musician or the music man in Batman: Brave and the Bold a few years, maybe 5 years ago now.
Yep.
Which was okay, but he has a good voice no matter what.
Yeah.
But he always kind of plays the same voice.
Well, it's Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Well, this fit him because Nightwing was very sarcastic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
He's like, well, or I'll just do this. That's fine.
Yeah.
Can you ever just like say, let's get in the car?
Yeah.
The production that went into this movie, I just really liked it. I thought it was written very tight.
Yeah.
It's not a very long film. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah, I did like the mix of, I think what they did really well, the mix of like computerized graphics with your hand-drawn. Like, it wasn't so much of the computerized stuff that it was like too distracting, I guess.
Yeah, you saw it sometimes with his vehicles.
Yeah, there were
a
a few elements.
Things
A few elements, and it wasn't like overpowering. Because sometimes they can bring in that like 3D graphics, and it's just like, dude, just draw it. Like, it's not helping you. So this one, I liked that. While you noticed it, it wasn't like something that distracted too much from the film, I guess, aesthetically.
And my favorite thing about the DC animated universe, over the last, I think they've been doing movies for 10 years now, maybe a little bit longer. But anytime Bruce Timm is attached to one of these movies, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know, because he was the helmsman for the original Batman animated series. And you can
and
see
Batman
a lot of
Beyond.
that.
Yep.
You can see a lot of that kind of art, noir style that he put into both of those shows.
He had a passion for that and a
Yeah.
passion for good stories.
Yeah.
But,
I agree, because I did watch the Batman animated series, not like religiously, but I did watch it, and like I could tell that this was done very similarly.
And I did like the flashback scenes with the different car and the different outfits. They weren't quite Batman animated series outfits, but they harkened back to that design a little bit.
Yeah, and there was a mix of different eras through there, because I mean the Batmobile had the big bat head on it, and that's from like the 50s, I believe.
Right.
And then his suit was straight out of animated series, because it was the black with the yellow. And,
Right.
I liked the transition that they would bring in to start those scenes.
With like the ghostly thing, and it was solid. Yeah.
And it like always crossed like Batman's path at some point, and like it was just
Alfred's path.
It was just a really cool way to introduce a flashback, I guess.
And this was a hard thing for Alfred to deal with too, because he loved Jason Todd and loves Bruce and sees the pain that Bruce is dealing with. And in the comics, right before this event happened, there was a big event that happened while we were in high school called Batman Hush. And it was Jim Lee did the art for it. It's a gorgeous graphic novel. But there was Hush was a character from Bruce's past. And at one point he dressed up like Jason Todd and tried to say that he was Jason Todd. And Batman, figured out that it wasn't him and figured out that it was this other guy. Well, it was later revealed that that actually was Jason Todd, and Jason Todd had helped bring out this guy into the woodwork to kind of torment Batman first before Jason Todd came on the scene.
Gotcha.
And so he worked this whole thing for Batman to struggle with, and then he came on and was like, now it's my turn, but I'll let this guy come into play first. And so that was an interesting reveal. And just reading the comics back then, after Jason Todd had died, Batman went into a really dark phase. He wasn't killing, obviously, but he was maiming a lot of people really bad.
The Joker's like, are you going to put me in another body cast for 6 months? Yeah. I thought the whole thing at the end, when he kind of it was the three of them, the Joker and Batman and Jason in like that room, and he had it all crescendoed because he wanted Batman to kill the Joker for him, out of
love,
or
loyalty, or something,
devotion, or however you want to put it. It's like, how have you not killed this guy? I mean, he took me from you, and I don't know, that it was just good. It was
a good
different than what you think it's going to be. They build it up where you think he's just going to kill the Joker, just like the Joker killed him. He's beating him with a crowbar and all this stuff, and then it's like, it comes back and you're like, oh, this is what this is.
Yeah. And at the end, and I should have said, this is a spoiler review. These are old movies.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But at the end, he turned the gun on Batman out of betrayal. He felt betrayed. He would rather shoot Batman than just shoot Joker, because he could have killed Joker at any point.
Oh, a million times.
Right. Yeah. So, it's a very heartfelt story. Yeah.
It's good.
So, one of my favorite stories, I have this collected in one of my graphic novels back there, and then I also have a bound book of the death of Jason Todd, Batman's dark period, and then how Tim Drake came on the scene and became the third Robin. It was actually a great story. It's called let's see here. A Death in the Family was when Jason Todd died, and then I can't think of what it's called. But Tim Drake comes on the scene, figures out who Batman is, and tracks down Nightwing and says, you should go back and be Robin again, because he needs a Robin. And Nightwing still says no, but eventually says, you should do it. And Tim Drake comes back, and then he's eventually adopted by Bruce down the line, and great story arcs back then. So, A Lonely Place of Dying is what it's called. A Lonely Place of Dying. And basically, they felt like if he didn't have a Robin to bring him back, he was going to go he was going to go down somehow. So. Yeah. So we're gonna watch the second film of the night, which is The Dark Knight Returns, parts 1 and 2. Now this is gonna be a way different movie.
All right.
Very, very different.
This is not canon Batman. This is Frank Miller's Batman, and whenever Frank Miller is allowed to write a Batman story, it gets a little crazy.
Oh boy.
So.
Yeah, and I think little is an understatement.
It is. And the artwork in this movie is great, but doesn't even trim the surface of the actual comics, because the comics are just weird, wacky artwork. And some people thought they were great, some people thought they were terrible, and thought Frank Miller should never be allowed to write for Batman again. It is a long movie. It's 2 parts. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours altogether. And part of this was the basis of Batman v Superman. They had referenced a bunch of this when they announced Batman v Superman at Comic-Con. They read a line from the comic that this movie is based off of. And everybody thought, oh, they're going to do Dark Knight Returns, and they didn't. But it's kind of cool that it was kind of based off this. So.
All right.
All right, so let's watch that one.